All right, it does say it's live. Hello everyone. Gonna check how my sound is doing. How's everyone? What's up? What's up, Mr. Deere Will? How we call you today? Every day I
D
have a different.
Will,
Was that D
always
Will in
D
the
Will.
house? Nice, nice.
Yes, sir.
So how's your how you feeling today, man? What time is it over there in the big Canada over there?
It's about 7:15. Yeah. How's
Damn.
life over there in Japan?
Tokyo, Japan, we're doing well. I'm up to my u- usual shenanigans trying to get stuff done. I was just editing a video I was hoping to put out this morning, but I guess I'll put it out Japan time. Yeah, man, just been in the money state of mind. Haven't looked at Bitcoin recently. I know I forgot on the last conversation. Do you do Bitcoin too? I'm sort of in everything.
I do more the stable coins and the the side coins, the altcoins,
Hmm.
but I do own a little bit of Bitcoin.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. We definitely want to start. I mean, our streams are Mondays, so eventually we'll get into the crypto. Eventually, I want to get into your day trading strategies. But today we're talking about money and how it affects relationships. So this is a lot to talk about. We'll try and cover it all. You can go first, or I can go first. Unless, is there anything news wise in terms of like trading or money or finances happening now in the markets that you want to discuss before we hop into it?
Actually, it's funny that you asked. We've
Hmm.
been going through a massive transition here with Trump becoming president. I'm sure you
Right.
heard he
Talk to me.
announced that he's gonna put 25% tariffs on Canada.
Oh,
And yeah, it's been pretty interesting watching the news coming out about the tariffs and Mexico and Canada.
yeah.
And
Like I love
yeah,
avocados, so like I imagine a lot of those avocados are imported in probably. So
oh
like if I
yeah,
was
yeah.
in the States right now, how does that affect me, right? And that how's that affect you guys? Do you think? How do you think it will affect you?
Well, the price of everything is gonna go up.
Right.
We're gonna be in a depression soon
Mm,
because 75% of our exports is to the US. So if they
mm,
put 25% tariffs on 75% of our exports, then you know down goes the ship.
right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's
I mean,
interesting. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think that it's a very strong negotiation tactic.
mm,
Um, and of course, we're going to put tariffs back on America. So
mhm,
I don't know. I was listening to Kevin O'Leary. I'm not sure
mm.
if you know who that is, but he's a
Yeah, Kevin O'Leary from
investor
Shark
from, yeah, from that show. And he was talking about an economic union between Canada and the US.
Tank. Mm,
So it'd be cool if we can use the same dollar or, just eliminate the barriers within trade, right?
right.
Yeah, that would be good, especially with the price of everything else. I mean, right now, the airlines in Canada are way too expensive. It's
Mm,
almost the same price to fly to Toronto from Vancouver as it is to fly to Jamaica, if you get
mm,
what I mean, right? It's too
mm,
expensive.
mm.
So, yeah, that's just a little bit of what's going on in the economy.
Jesus. Yeah, man. Um, yeah, so yeah, let's get into it. I mean, I guess over here in Japan, uh I don't think we're sending that much stuff over to the States, but I mean Japan and America, to me it's all one and the same. I mean, the way I look at it is you just gotta get money, and if you don't have money, you either can't do much. But the problem is when you're trying to make money, that takes up time, it takes up energy, and then that affects the relationship. So, um,
Yeah, exactly. Money over everything, right?
Yeah, money is power. And it's so funny. We're a society so predicated on money, but at the same time we we hide it. We try to hide it and make like it's not a thing, but it is a thing.
It
Money
is.
is a big issue.
A lot of people don't realize that they put money over religion, but they
Mm.
do, right?
Interesting. Elaborate on that.
I would say a lot of Christians, a lot of people who are devout religious people,
Mm.
they actually value money more than they value relationships and their religion that they preach so much about. Because if you get between them and their money,
Mhm.
oh man, it's not going to be good for you.
I wonder what would happen to the churches. I know like whenever I go to a church somewhere, there's always a money giving session. What would happen if like they just, let's say it was like outlawed or banned, like you churches can't accept money anymore. Like what's gonna happen? Are people gonna start doing it out of the goodness of
Yeah,
the heart? Like what's gonna happen with that?
yeah. Well, politics and religion, right? I don't really get too much into it because I
Right.
don't want to offend anybody, really.
Yeah,
But
that's true. That's true.
you know,
Yeah, it's not really my wheelhouse. So like, yeah, politics. I don't really study much about like religion. I don't know too much about, but I do know about travel and I do know about making money and I do know about dating. So those are the only things I really try to speak on. And I
yeah,
do know
money is the most important thing. Where you look at how it affects everyone in every situation. If you don't have money, you can't
Mm,
eat and you can't feed other people.
right.
So when you're going on a date, you got your nice, beautiful lady. Who's
Mm,
picking up the check, Mr. Passport Man?
exactly. Someone's got to be picking up the check. I like to say, the people in my corner are always. It's not my family. It's not the banks. It's the well, I mean, it is the banks. It's not my family. It's not my friends. It's not my parents. It's always been from the very beginning, from the time I was 18 and discovered them. Women in their mid 20s and up, the banks, really the banks and my hustles, my sales jobs,
Yeah,
my ability to like build up tens of thousands really quick. And then the banks trust me because I'm able to have that money and be responsible with credit. And then the ladies in my life who don't expect me to be driving a Lambo. It's interesting. When I first got into dating heavily in New York when I was 18, I was always able to guess whether women were 23 years old or 32 years old just by their actions, like with like precise predictability. Um, and like I think once a woman, this was a concept that I had in my head I was thinking about the other day. Once a lady is sort of that age, I don't know about other countries, but I think in America, once they hit 23, they start looking at the business side of relationships. Is that like, now you've traveled around a bit too? Do you find that to be the case in Canada? And what do you think that is the case in other places like maybe Jamaica, Japan, etc.?
what do you mean business side of the relationship?
So what I mean is like, so the college girls, when I first went to college, undergrad as a freshman, like my fellow college girls who were like messing around with me, they were just like they were just having fun. But I think like towards the end of college or like a few years out of college, they're no longer dating guys based on like their looks. So like those girls that I was there that were dating me just for the looks, they start looking towards money, and then the college Roy would be less attractive. So looking for guys who can provide some money to them.
Yeah, from my
Or,
experience,
or, or to the
if you don't
relationship.
have money
Yeah, early. Go
or
ahead.
a vehicle or a house, it's very difficult to date.
Mhm.
You got to be able to take the girl out. You got to be able to buy her drinks. You got to be able to pay her for her meal. And
And
then
it's
at the end of the night, you got to drive, take her home with you. You got to have a place to go.
right.
So if you don't have it, then I'm sorry, man.
And it's not even bad from the girl's perspective. It's something we need in everyday life. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's funny, like, you know, sometimes I see videos where I see like one side is getting the bad rap, one gender or the other gender. But um if like, all right, so like I'm by myself here, right? If I need to wash a dish, someone's got to wash the dish. Someone's got to pay the rent. These bills are getting paid anyway. I think one of the good things about having a rough economy is that people eventually got to find people to stick together. Now you got two options if money's rough, right? Some people live with their families, other people cohabitate, and what's the other option? So it's kind of, if everybody was living in a utopia and like well off money wise, I wonder would that be the end of relationships? It's kind of like a weird catch 22, right?
It is. I agree. I think that with the dating dynamic between men and women,
Hmm.
as you grow older, women grow for older men, I would say, because they
Mm,
have their, status, they have their
mm,
money, they have things together.
mm,
Whereas if you take two 18-year olds, a male and a
mm,
female,
mm,
I would say the female is going to get attention from all the older men, whether they be 20, 24, 25, whatever.
mm,
She's going to get all the attention. Whereas the 18-year-old, he doesn't have money. He most likely doesn't have a car.
mm,
Um, he doesn't have a house. Maybe he's, just figuring things out. He's just trying to get his college application together, or you never know, right?
mm,
So he's in a weird space where he's not getting any attention. The older women are not going for him, and the women who are his age are definitely not going for him. Uh,
mm,
you know, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but
mm,
you know, a majority of men out there don't have it so lucky.
mm.
You get where I'm going?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's an interesting thing. You know, when I see the dating coaches out there, I think most of them look like guys who've had to work for it. And you know,
What do you mean by
I think,
dating coach? Are there dating coaches out there? People pay for those things?
yeah, people are paying for dating coaches. It's I mean, I think they pay for them. I know they used to pay for them. I've definitely seen some YouTubers who have gotten rich from charging you know, for their services. And just making sure my Wi-Fi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um
So everybody
yeah,
who's listening out there, do not pay for a dating coach. Just go out there and get some experience. That's
what
all
would
you
you
need.
recommend instead of paying for a dating coach, Debo?
Real world experience. Just go anywhere, any populated area, and get rejected.
Yeah. You
That's
know,
it.
I wonder what percentage of these people paying for the dating coaches, um I'm really curious about the demographics. Like, do they live with their family? Do they have any issues? I mean, I think some people, I like, to me, there's a bare minimum list of things you have to do before listening to a dating coach or paying. I think listening is okay. I think some of these guys, whether they're dating coaches or just people observing off the internet, I think some of them bring up some very good points and kind of help you to help people to figure out what they're experiencing out there on the dating market. But I think that others are um I'm getting distracted here by this thing over
Yeah, so I get where you're going with that. Dating coaches are essentially for the weak. Um,
here.
I know a lot of guys who out there who they may have anxiety, right?
Right,
They may not have the right um, stature or build,
right.
or they don't have status. So they
Right.
think that they have to listen to somebody else who does have the status, who does have the money in the build, whatever, right? So it could be a multitude of things, but
Mm,
nothing beats experience. You got to level up. You got to get that XP, and you got to
right.
get out there and get rejected a few times until you can say it doesn't
Mm.
matter. I'll probably never see this person again, and keep it moving.
What do you mean by rejected a few times? Because I think there's I mean there's the old fashioned way. There's like talking to ladies on the street, in which you definitely need you need confidence, and I think confidence matters more than the looks. I think confidence, people skills, being able to read the room, and then there's the other aspect is just like making it happen through the dating apps or YouTube. Sorry, Instagram,
Well, the
right?
way that I do it is I just assume that she's gonna reject me, and then I
Right.
just go in there anyway.
Right. But I mean, I met
That
with you when you came to Japan. You're pretty confident. I think a lot of guys don't have that confidence, right? I mean, do you consider yourself confident?
100%,
Yeah.
and
So the
it's
question is,
specifically. Go ahead.
mm, so the question is, how do guys develop that confidence? And did you develop that confidence over time?
Yeah, I mean, I developed my confidence by talking to different people, strangers, and
Mm,
just putting myself out there. I may not
mm,
even be looking to get a number or anything. I'm just talking, and
mm,
by experiencing and feeling the vibe, the connection that you create between you and another person,
mm.
that can give you the confidence you need to ask her for her number, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I I think a lot of guys are just putting too much weight on it. And then I think because all the YouTube channels and social media just makes everything looks so extreme that if guys don't already have that confidence, it sort of intimidates them.
100%. And conversation has to flow naturally, right?
Mm,
So it could be the time of the day, it could be the time of the year,
mm,
anything. Just bring it up, break the
mm,
ice, tell her
mm,
Happy New Year. You
mm.
know, it's the middle of February, but I'm still telling her Happy New Year,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Doesn't matter.
Mm,
Make her laugh, right?
right.
You know what they say? If you can make her laugh and jiggle, you can make those cheeks clap and jiggle.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh man, that's nice, man. That's good. I Yeah, I don't know, man. Life is pretty good here in Tokyo. I find it interesting. I see a lot of young people in relationships in Japan. Some of them are international relationships. Some of them are, with a foreigner and a Japanese person. Some are with two Japanese. I know I've interviewed several people in relationships on the live streams. I interviewed this couple like a while back, 4 months ago. I don't know. Have you ever seen this live stream that I have here? I'm thinking of changing the title, by the way, of this live stream to like, because we don't have that many people watching. I think one of me was just checking the one of the people watching is myself. But just checking the volume. But let me see. I want to play this for you real quick. And then I'm curious what you think of this couple, because this couple I interviewed, they're let me just start playing it.
Yeah.
Opinion, but you gotta respect the hustle. At least me trying, but it's too much to read the whole.
Oh snap! 1 second. Oh, I got to sort by popular, and
Chat, I guess.
this is my first. Oh, what's happening here? Passport man, and then live popular. Okay.
We just walked a lot, bro.
You're right.
All right. It's sort of a long live.
Did you
Let me start from the
I
beginning.
gain like fat?
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
I have a lot of
Have a
things.
little mic.
So these
I
two
know
are
a
a couple.
couple who met on Facebook and they're married already.
Nice, nice.
So
That
it's-
closeness.
I think it works sometimes.
Nice,
That's what dating.
nice.
Was it a group or just how did they meet?
So she's talking about, like, she knows a couple that's met on Facebook. It's like it's just surprising that what they say it's online. It's so surprising. I see a lot of happy people in relationships, but it's just not what they say online. Like, she's in a relationship, she knows people who are in relationships. I think it's still a half and half thing. But I don't know. I think it's sort of good for people. I think some people simply don't want to be in relationships. And relationships is sort of a job in itself. So I think maybe some people's personalities, it's hard work to be in a relationship. Throw that on top of being in a full-time job, and they're like, you know what, F this. I'll just live with my cats or a dog or whatever their pet is of choice, right?
Yeah, I think people all choose what they want in a partner or a
Mm.
friend, right?
Right.
It's all about companionship at the end of the day,
Right.
right? If you would rather be a better companion with a pet,
Mhm.
you know, by all means, but hopefully you're not having
The
any
pet don't
relations
live that
with
long
a
either.
pet.
Yeah, hopefully not. I have seen that somewhere where people was in a relationship with their pet. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, it was on Netflix. I was watching the Jerry Springer. You know, have you heard of that show, Jerry Springer?
Oh yeah,
Jesus,
90s.
he literally brought on a dude who married his horse, and the horse was licking his face. I think it was a horse. It was something. It's crazy. All right, let me let me play it.
212. Yeah. Put up. Let me see. Yeah. So
The mic set up.
what app do you guys think is the best dating app besides Tinder?
Besides Tinder, I've never used anything other than Tinder. So.
Honestly, so
The mic's working.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook.
Huh?
people date on Facebook.
I don't know.
People
Yeah.
still use it.
So Facebook dating, what do you think about it?
I didn't know it existed. New, right?
I know a couple that met on Facebook, and then
Maybe a little closer because you
sorry.
guys are very soft spoken.
they
Yeah.
have a lot of
They have a
things.
lot of money.
Yeah, I know a couple who met on Facebook and they're married already.
Nice.
So
That
it's-
closeness.
I think it works sometimes.
Nice.
That's what dating.
Nice.
Was it a group or just how did they meet?
Have no idea. I think they just randomly met on a probably Facebook group or I don't know.
Oh, that is cool.
Nice. Yeah, great. So those sounds working, guys. I don't know why those fluffy things, my Rode mics are not working. But yeah, let me ask you some questions. If you could put the mic a little closer,
Yep.
yeah. Because you don't speak as loud as me.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Little, maybe like.
I'm
yeah.
trying to always like keep my voice.
Ah, yeah. We're in
Otherwise
Japan, right?
That's
I-
the problem.
Do you guys think my voice is too loud for Japan?
I can hear you really well.
Yeah, okay.
It's a nice thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like, if I'm walking around in Japan, as long as I'm not breaking any rules, I should be able to speak at this type of volume.
Should be okay.
Yeah. So,
Also, like you don't
Mm.
speak too aggressively, so like
oh, nice. It's just a loud voice, I guess,
Yeah.
right? So, so like, what do you think of Japan? So, when did you move to Japan? I was just figuring out the mic stuff, so I don't know if you answered this already.
So I visited in 2022 in November.
Okay, 2022,
For the first time.
right?
We stayed for 6 months and then we went to Netherlands.
Mm.
But back then we already knew we wanted to try and live here
Right,
and do
right.
something. But we had to, play it smart. So go
Right.
back to Netherlands immediately, save up more money,
Right.
and then go here with half a plan.
Right.
There he goes. Did you hear what he was saying? Talking about the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the that's what it comes down to, man. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the
100%.
I think P. Diddy would
It's all
agree
about the money. You can't do anything without it.
with.
So what?
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience in Japan with these dating or lack of funds, or maybe you think you're being taken advantage of by someone. Have you
I don't
ever
know. Like
experienced
I
that?
look at, the dating market in Japan is very similar from a cost of dating standpoint. It's very similar to New York to me, but I think I'm a bad example because I've never been a guy that splurges on dates. So I think so for me, I feel like when I'm talking on content for like traveling or dating or business, some of it is like I think the content I put out there is good, but I think people should take it more from an educational standpoint where they can see all their options available to them as opposed to copying to exactly what I do, because what I do is sort of like wild and out there. Like I live sort of I mean, it's not everyone can do the same thing. It's like, for example, right? So like LeBron James or some of these basketball players. You got a basketball player who's like 7'4", probably like
Yeah.
240 centimeters or something. Like we can't all do the same thing. I can't like I'm not a 7 foot dude like dunking a basketball. I can't play basketball. Like some guys got to work harder than others. Some people got confidence. I think so. From my standpoint, I think because I have the confidence to answer your question, and because I'm sort of able to read the room and see what girls like, and because I just don't feel like my goals that I'm trying to accomplish are I'm still in the mode to get them. So that's the only goal I have. So adding another goal of trying to impress a girl with money is just never interested me. So in Japan, I'm still sort of like living off I guess my looks and my confidence, just like I was in New York. And the girls who want to play with that game is not many. So I don't know if you saw like when I was on if you're on the train in Japan, it's sort of like when you're on the train in New York, you can tell when a girl is about getting that bag. And there's a lot of girls in Tokyo who are about getting that bag. And they could look at me and I could look at them and we could both agree like I'm not going to be their sugar daddy. They're not going to be my sugar baby. Like we can know without even like speaking to each other just by looking at each other. And I feel like that's sort of the dichotomy both in Tokyo and New York. It's very similar. It's all the way the other side of the world, but you got those that are out there for the looks. You got in Tokyo, I guess you got the other ones who are out there trying to use you for your foreigner ability or for like a free English class. And then you got those who are out there for money. So you got like three different reasons, right? And I guess in New York, you could say you got one who's out there, for a green card because New York has a lot of international folks on student visas, whatever, who when their student visas expire, they want to get the marriage visa, right? And I met a few. Yeah, I'll give you an example there. So I had two Korean girlfriends when I was living in New York. I
At
had
the
one
same
girl.
time?
Were they? I don't think so, but I have some crazy stories. That's why I say don't do what I do. I'm that guy where like if you're walking in Tokyo, Japan, it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. at night. I have one girl screaming at me, another girl have like sometimes my life is crazy. I try to have it less crazy, especially now that I'm doing YouTube, but I'm very honest. And I think that's what's kept me safe. That's another thing that I will say. And I know this is very hard for a lot of guys to do, especially if they're married or whatever. And I think part of that is kind of like trying too hard in dating. I think they overcompensate and folks feel like they have to lie. And I don't know. Can you fill me in on this? Because I think it's hard to say because I've never been too hard up when it comes to the looks department. But do you think only good-looking guys or wealthy guys can get away with honesty, or do you think regular Joes can do honesty too? Because it's one thing to talk about it in theory for me, but I've never actually. I feel like I'm like money-wise, I'm sort of the ordinary Joe. But confidence wise, speaking wise, probably looks wise as well. I'm not totally 100% average, right? So what do you think for guys who are kind of like, let's say a short king making like 30K? When I mean short king, I don't mean like 5'10. Let's say like 5'4. How do you think honesty still works there, or
Of course.
for me? Yeah, go ahead.
Honesty is always the best medicine. You always want to be straight up, let the people know who you are before they get in. Even someone who is legally a short person can pull and can be honest with women and can, get that respect.
Facts.
I don't think
And you're
it matters about where you are in life or what you have or what you don't have. As long as you portray that confidence and be honest and say what you want and say what you mean, you're gonna get that respect.
Yeah, and I think it saves a lot of time for both parties. And then if a relationship spurns out of it, whether it was a one night stand or just a first date, you're dealing with people's lives, especially when you get to the relationship part. Like if it's just a hookup off a Bumble, Tinder, whatever, fine. But if you actually get into a relationship with a woman, or if a lot of women let you know their intentions right up front, and then you're not telling the truth, or you appear to be someone else, you say and whatever, like depending on the woman you're dealing with, like, if the woman's got, her own stuff going on, maybe she'll walk away, but people can end up being like another case on the news, right?
Yeah, that's how you get your car keyed.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
something, right? You never know. You can't tell people how to react if you step on their shoes. So just don't do it.
Yeah. I think that's coming from like thinking from a place of abundance, essentially. I think if a guy's not having success, it's hard to have that abundance. And I think that's where the social media personalities. By the way, speaking of the legally short person, there's an Instagram account that I follow in which he interviews random people, and he's interviewing a guy who's got to be like, I'm guessing like 4 feet, give or take.
Yeah.
And then during the interview, the 4-foot guy calls to some random girls and just points to his cheek and asks for a kiss on the cheeks. And he got several girls.
That. Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So
I was thinking about that when I said it.
Jesus, that's got to be viral.
Awesome.
It's got to be viral. I don't know if he's an actor or what, but that goes with confidence. He's definitely got confidence. I don't know what gave that dude the confidence on there, but I think sort of, I'm thinking before social media, I feel like a lot of the guys who didn't have confidence, they kind of went natural. And I think the same thing with women. I think people probably were thinking more organically. I feel one thing I'll say is that I feel like with some of the dates I go on, especially if it's with like women in their later 20s, I would say mid 20s and up, I feel like they're not thinking originally and they're sort of predictable. And
yes, 100%. For example, if you go on the internet right now, a majority of women are going to get so much dopamine from the likes and attention that they get on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, all these different stories, Snapchat. You know what I mean? They're getting hits. They're getting likes. Everybody's so by the time she leaves the house, she's already,
dopamine
high on her high horse, right?
She's probably tired from communication as well, from seeing all that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very difficult for men. I mean, for men, we don't have that same anything. Like for an average guy, he doesn't get any attention. He doesn't get any likes, right? He's swiping right.
I have a question. If the average guy, I feel like a lot of guys go towards like the hottest girl, the youngest girl, and especially now with the internet, Now even if a girl's hot, I feel like if a girl's like in her maybe 30 or up, I don't know what the age is that the internet is saying is like too old or a girl's ran through, but I feel like because of the internet, the average guy who would maybe get attention from maybe even an attractive girl, because he's told what to like on the internet, he's kind of cutting out that stream of attention that would give him confidence. What do you think about that
Yeah,
idea?
I agree. I also think that the average guy and the average girl are not the same.
Elaborate. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
the average guy and
Mm.
the average girl, if an average guy tries to hit on the average girl,
Mm.
she'll deny him because she's getting so much attention from a lot of other men that
Right.
she thinks she deserves the top 1% of men.
Mm.
She deserves LeBron James. She deserves, the rapper and all these big names out there
And
because
do you think that's
she's
the
getting
case?
so much attention. She has over 25K followers, and
I don't
even
think the
though she's
average
an
girl
average
has over
woman,
25K followers. I see some beauties in Japan. I get a lot of girls' Instagrams in Tokyo, Japan, and they definitely, well, yeah, the average girl, even if a girl's like, actually, I think you're right. I think the average girls are more likely to have 25K followers, and then the
yeah,
hotter girls are actually gonna have 1,000 or 500 followers.
that's true
It's go ahead.
because they're looking for attention, right? It depends
Right.
on how they portray themselves. If they need that validation, they're gonna go
Mm,
out there and try and get it,
mm.
right? Whereas the hot girls, the super hot girls, they don't need the validation as much. So you might find a baddie with only 2K, right?
Now, I have a question for you for this whole thing of baddie, because like obviously, what did you think of the women in Tokyo when you were out here?
I think that they are humble and beautiful,
Mm,
respectful. I love that even if you are trying to get a girl,
mm.
she'll let you down nicely.
Right.
And she will reject you nicely, which is good, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up, because I feel like Tokyo is just like America, where you have girls that are very done up, and then you have girls that are walking around like not done up in terms of nails and makeup. But even for the ones who are done up and invest a lot of time into their looks, the way they communicate is from a very humble standpoint. And
Yeah.
I definitely don't feel like that would. I don't know. It's sort of it's very elegant. It's very. I don't know if classy is the word I'm looking for. It's very just sophisticated. It's very smooth. How
Yeah,
Japanese.
exactly. I
That
think
might just
that
be a
the
cultural thing.
women in Tokyo are top tier. You know what
Mm,
I mean? Like they have a aura around
mm,
them, and you could feel it. And I love
mm.
that because it gives you confidence to be able to talk to them, and they're gonna be respectful no matter what, right?
And then I feel like the Japanese guys live in a world of abundance because of that.
Yeah.
They probably have the
So tell us
opposite.
how. I want you to compare it with New York because I've
Mm.
never been in New York, but I see a lot of aggressive women coming from New York.
Yeah, there's a lot of ladies here. There's not just the Japanese women here in Tokyo, but also the women from Korea, Taiwan, other countries here in Tokyo. I tell them sometimes, I'm like, man, if you were in New York, you would be cleaning up. It's sort of you would be cleaning up. I think some of the women in New York, if they move from New York, they would be doing better. New York's competitive, but Tokyo is a whole lot more competitive. Um, I think in New York, it's very weird. I think New York's way better than the rest of the country. I can't imagine what like the non-cities are. Like my whole thing for guys is like I think the height and the looks comes like fifth or sixth, because I feel like a lot of women eventually people get tired. People get tired of working. I mean,
Exactly.
show me a woman over the age of 22 that still wants to work at her job. Some of them do, but like eventually they won't, right? They won't want to work at. I mean, some women have a lot of pride of their job if they're a doctor, yes, right? But I think there's enough women out there that are had enough of their job, because not every woman could be a doctor or a high paid office lady or whatever. That if you're a
Hmm.
decent looking guy, you don't smell bad, you don't have terrible communication skills, they're like, okay, I'll take that. Let me find someone to work with, so I'm not like living with my family forever or whatever, right? Um, it's an interesting thing. I don't know if I asked before. Did you uh go to like Osaka or anywhere else?
No, I stayed in Tokyo. I was only there for a week. I really
Right, right.
wanted to go. Maybe next time you'll show me around Osaka.
Yeah, speaking of which, I am going to Osaka in a few days, so I'll try and do some live streams from there. But yeah, man, yeah, I get definitely show you around. I know you want to visit Asia a lot more. But yeah, Japan's a special place. I think I'm very curious about other countries, Korea, etc. China, Taiwan, probably Thailand, Philippines. But Japanese women, there's a lot of especially the younger Japanese women, I'd say under the age of 27, they're living with their family, even 27 years old, actually. It's surprising. I think I met with like a few of those like older chicks, women in 27, 28 that actually are still living with their family, even if they have a job, even if they sort of have that westernized aura.
Hmm.
Even if they lived overseas and moved back. And I think in New York, what's different about New York is everyone's living with their roommates.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
mm, yeah, I think in New York, another thing which maybe makes women go harder towards money is they don't really have love hotels in New York,
Exactly.
right?
That's so true. I'm glad you
They
brought
have
that
one.
up.
I don't know if it's still there. They had one that when I was there, I don't know if it was called the Love Hotel. I sort of, yeah, but it was like in the meatpacking district. There's only one. But like they don't really have that. So like if a girl's got roommates and she's dealing with a guy with roommates, like that's not really the move, right? And then the
Exactly.
Greens, yeah. New York's a crazy place. Did you hear about I don't know if you saw in the news, people don't people stand against the wall now in New York while they're waiting for your train?
Yeah, so people don't push them off the platform. I
Which
heard
news?
about that.
I'm curious. Go ahead.
You seen a woman with a bike lock chained herself to a pole.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my God. She had
Oh,
a bike lock and she wrapped it around her waist and locked it to a pole. And when the train comes, she grabs her key and unlocks it.
wait. This is a hoax. Wait, I gotta see this. Where did you see this? Are you
I
joking?
think it was just on X.
All right, I gotta Google this now. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Lady,
I was laughing.
lady train chains herself to a pole,
Yeah.
New York City, to a pole with a bike chain, NYC. Let's see what comes up. Video Bronx. Wait, oh snap. Hold on. Let's see. It says share. Is this sharing? Is it this lady?
I think so. You got to play it and then we'll see.
All right.
Need to get your business online? GoDaddy makes it fast and easy with user-friendly product.
There you go. That's her.
So I got my own chain, and this is what I do. I wait for the train like this, and
What? Huh? Wait, what?
put the key, and that's it. And I'm It ain't gonna happen to me. So I got my own chain. And this is what I do. I wait for the train like this.
Crazy.
Till the train don't come, I stay right here. Ain't nobody pushing me.
Yeah,
Train
dangerous
come,
out there, man.
put the key,
I would say, like,
put the key,
I can't say it's totally 100% not too extreme.
boom.
I
No,
kind of,
she,
it
someone
doesn't.
else is gonna get thrown off the platform and lose their life. So I think that's valid.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. That's geez, that probably went viral. That's
Yeah,
oh man.
dangerous
And I,
out
I
there.
don't I don't I don't know if I don't think she was even trying to be like I don't think she was trying to be funny or go viral. I think she was like just sharing on social media about that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and especially because it's happening so often.
mm, wow.
It's yeah, it's too much. Some crazies out there.
Jesus.
It would never happen in Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo is so safe, man. We're living a good life over here, man. Over in
That's one thing
Tokyo.
I love about Tokyo is like
Mm,
you don't have to have a car. You don't have to have a place to bring someone back to. Just
mm,
take the train, go to a love hotel.
mm,
It's easy.
man. Yeah,
It's
I
too
think
easy.
yeah. But people gotta have the money when they come out here, man. The war chest will definitely get wrecked if they don't have the. You gotta come prepared, man. Anything and everything will happen. One thing that I will say about Japan is it's a little harder to make money. You got to be running on all cylinders. Have you ever seen any homeless people, homeless guys in Japan?
I don't know if they were homeless.
Oh,
I
for
did
sure.
see one, which I
Mm.
kind of knew because she had all her stuff with her. But
Really? A foreigner?
some of them I
American?
walked by and I was thinking, yeah, they might be drunk or passed out.
Mm.
Yeah, but I only saw one homeless person.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I used to see them. I used to see foreigners, like homeless foreigner guys. I don't know if I'm not out there that often. I think they got rid of them somehow. Maybe like the visa people got better at immigration at figuring out which foreigners were homeless, or maybe there was like a shelter that takes foreigners in, or maybe there's some
Yeah.
life hack where foreigners figured out how to get Japanese girls to shelter them, or
Mhm.
Japanese women, I should say, because yeah, yeah, yo, man, it's tough out here. We're all in different situations. If guys are broke, man, don't yo, man, whoever's gonna help you out, let them help you out. Don't listen to social media. Man, if you're a broke 50-year-old or go for older ladies or broke 20-year-old, whatever it is, like I don't know. Some people have medical conditions, some people have difficult earning, some people are just on rough times. And I think it's only gonna get rougher. Earlier in the call, you were talking about Donald Trump with the tariffs. Who knows
Mhm.
what that's gonna bring? Shout
I
out.
have an idea.
What's that?
I've been doing some research on this, and I think that they are trying to get out of the debt slave system with the Rothschild bankers and
Mm,
BlackRock and Vanguard. I don't know if you know who these companies are and like people like Larry Fink.
mm.
Do you know who those people are?
Who's Larry Fink?
So he's the founder of BlackRock, which
Hmm.
BlackRock has like trillions under management.
Right. I'm familiar with BlackRock.
Like
Yeah.
these guys literally own a piece of every company on the
Mm,
S&P 500.
mm,
And I mean, it's just a Ponzi scheme. They all own each other and they all
mm,
do well if they do
mm.
well. If that makes sense. Like
Right.
Berkshire Hathaway owns BlackRock and BlackRock owns Berkshire Hathaway. And
Right.
it goes like that with Facebook and all these big companies, right? So it's just a Ponzi scheme. None of it's real. The money doesn't exist. It's literally
What?
propped up. Yeah, dude, it's very it's a very intricate Ponzi scheme.
When did you come across this information?
Well, just by researching the Federal Reserve and how money actually works and how it's not tied to anything of value.
Mm,
The only thing that the money is tied to is the military. And it's like, okay, well, we'll just invade your country. What are you
mm,
gonna do now?
mm,
Right? So I think that it's changing with the invention of crypto and with store of value.
mm,
Yeah, it's very, very confusing for
mm,
someone who doesn't study it.
mm,
But I think that there is a big change coming because if you look at how much debt is in the world, it's
mm,
unsustainable.
mm.
Everything is debt, and you can never like pay it off. It's just it has to keep growing, and if it stops growing, then it collapses.
Well, when you say it's unsustainable, elaborate on that.
Like the GDP to debt ratio for
Right.
every country,
Mm.
it's unsustainable. We just keep growing and getting more debt.
So what
And
would happen
like,
in the worst case scenario? Like different countries would just go on to their own, and then people say, you owe me that money, so we're gonna go to war unless you give me like rice or potatoes." Um, like what happens in that scenario if like all hell breaks loose?
I think the worst case scenario already happened. They just printed more money to get out of it.
All right,
I
so it's
was
not
I
that
was
bad.
so
You're printing money.
I was so like unbelievable. I thought COVID was gonna be the collapse of everything.
Mm.
Literally everybody was staying home, nobody's working, and yet the economy was doing better than ever.
What does the collapse look
Magically.
like? Does it look like the violence in New York when people are struggling to make a living? Like what does the collapse look like?
Collapse looks like people goes to the ATM to get money. The ATMs are shut down, the banking system shut down. There's no liquidity in the
What
market.
about
So
Bitcoin? What about the internet? What about the infrastructure to because you need
yeah,
access to
Bitcoin.
internet to access Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin and crypto will be the only thing that will be live. I think that all the banks will shut down because there's no liquidity, and you're going to be wanting to get cash out of the ATMs, and there's going to be none.
But
So
this is all a system. Somebody created a piece of paper and said,
yeah,
"Hey, this piece of paper is worth money." So
yeah,
the people who control everything, the governments that won the wars, right? All
yes,
the governments that exist, they're all leaders because they beat somebody else up physically, right? Am I wrong about this?
yes and no. I mean, you have Colombia and other small countries, right?
Okay.
Which like
So let's
the
take
countries
Colombia.
who are joining BRICS,
Okay.
right?
Colombia is
Do you
that a
know
joint?
about BRICS?
No. Tell me, talk.
So BRICS, it's
Mm,
Brazil, Russia, India,
mm,
China, South
mm,
Africa,
mm,
right? You can go BRICS,
mm,
and they're trying to create their new currency,
mm.
and it's basically all of the big manufacturing countries that are joining BRICS, and
Okay.
they're trying to create a decentralized currency
Right.
which is going to dethrone the US dollar as the world's reserve currency.
Okay.
So you can see if that happens. Like if Saudi Arabia all of a sudden decides to stop selling oil in the US currency,
Right.
then nobody has a need for US dollars anymore, and down goes the US dollar.
Well, isn't it all based on value? Like we can like the question is if is a US providing something to the world that the world needs? Because as a negotiating tactic, if the US stops providing whatever they're providing, then what's the world going to do? Go without it? So like can what's the U.S. bring to the table then?
The U.S. brings to the table, they bring sanctions. They bring the U.S. greenback. That's it. That's it.
That's
It's just
all.
the U.S. dollar. Literally, that's the power of their economy. Is the U.S. petrodollar. Because if they sanction you, then they remove you from the world marketplace.
So
Right
how?
now,
Oh,
China doesn't want to do business with you. All these countries they can't do business with you, because if they do business with you, then they can't buy oil in the US dollars, if that makes
so
sense.
when do you see this taking place, D. Will?
Well, I think Trump is preparing for it. BRICS
Mm.
has been coming out with news and press releases, and different countries have been applying to join BRICS. So I
Mm.
think they're at like 9 or 10 countries right now.
Right.
And they're having these different summits, and all these things are happening. So I think that the crypto is going to be a big deal coming forward, and I think that Trump is trying to prepare for it, and he has been put in a corner by Putin,
Mm.
right?
So how
Because
does this
they
affect
tried.
your,
Sorry.
how does this affect your investing? I mean, finish your point, but eventually, I'm curious how this affects how much attention you give towards crypto or the regular stock, New York Stock Exchange, etc. But go ahead, continue. What your point?
Yeah, so I was saying that they tried to sanction Putin, and Putin just said, "Okay, I'm done with the U.S. dollar." And
Mm.
Putin started selling oil in the Russian ruble,
Mm.
and
Interesting. This is sounding
China's
real.
buying it. All these different countries are still buying Russian oil. So, I mean, Putin and Russia is doing better than ever.
Mm.
Like their GDP to debt ratio has been really level. So,
Mm. How are the people living
I
out
like
there?
that.
Does that affect the lifestyle out there?
Well, I think their people are better off because their economy isn't as inflated as ours. Even
Mm.
Japan's economy is inflated. It's insane the amount of the prices we pay for simple goods and services.
The
It's
rents.
really cheap still in Russia. But to answer your question about how it affects my investment strategy,
Mm.
man, I've been trying to remove myself as much as I can from fiat currency.
Mm.
All fiat currency, in my opinion, is going
Mm.
to zero.
Mm.
If I
So put
could
that in
today,
layman's terms for folks watching in the replay and who aren't as familiar with the terminologies. Go ahead.
fiat currency is basically any currency that is not backed by something, whether it
Mm.
be gold or it's crypto or something, right? Fiat currency is just the paper that is a promissory of value,
Mm.
but it doesn't have any actual value,
Mm.
right? And that's fiat currency. So all fiat currencies and since the history of time have went
Mm.
to zero,
Mm.
literally all of them. So it's only a matter of time before our fiat currency goes to zero. So I think crypto is a safe bet. You know what I mean?
So
Like
no more
buying
stocks on the
Bitcoin.
stock exchange, no matter what country they're based in.
Sorry?
So like Fiverr, for example. Have you heard of Fiverr?
Yeah.
All right. So let me try and pull up Fiverr here. Fiverr. So Fiverr is a company that's not based in America, but they're on the New York Stock Exchange, I believe. Fiverr stock. Let's look at this market here. All right. Share this tab instead. Can you see my graph?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna show it for the past. This is the 5-year outlook of Fiverr. As you can see, it's not looking too pretty. At one point in 2021, it was at 323. This is one of the stocks where I made like 60 grand off of. And as you can see, and I was day trading, as you can see here from the graph, you can see how it did so well. There was a lot of movement. So I would
Yeah,
buy on the dip and sell the next day. But as
it
you can
was
see, in
2021.
yeah, 2021, 323. Right now, $30. People still use Fiverr. But what do you think of a stock like this?
Well, from what I understand, Fiverr is where you get people you can outsource work to, whether it
Right,
be drawing, digital, marketplace, whatever.
right.
Right. So that's the middle of the pandemic. Of course, that stock and Zoom, they were all going crazy.
Hmm.
But it wasn't just those companies, it was also um, all these other companies in different spaces,
Hmm.
specifically because the government printed so much fucking money. It was crazy. They printed so much money. They just
Hmm.
unloaded the money printer. They called it quantitative easing.
Hmm.
And how many trillions of dollars, right?
Hmm.
So of course, when people have this extra money, I don't know if you remember, but people were getting $2,000 a week
Hmm.
just to,
Yeah, I
or two
remember that.
thousand
Yeah.
dollars for 2 weeks, just
Right.
to exist. And I
Right.
mean, you can imagine some of the people who don't even work.
Yeah.
So, some of the people who were working part-time jobs at Foot Locker were getting more money sitting at home, not doing
Right.
anything. So the marketplace was just insane. Everybody and their mom was making money off investments and
Hmm.
stocks. So
All right. So, like, do you
I
know
think,
go ahead.
in my opinion, there's going to be a tightening period where a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money,
Hmm.
especially with the housing market.
Hmm.
But I'm not a professional on these things. I'm not a financial
I mean,
advisor.
but so
You know,
but you do trade and you do have more of a science than I did. I did have a system, but I never studied the scientific dynamics. I just went by the graphs and from my knowledge of the companies when I was day trading, and it was only for a year. So you are far more, you've studied more, you've have a much higher rate of success. For me, I went from about 23 grand to maybe 80 grand that year, but you do a lot better percentage wise. We won't talk about the dollars amounts, but percentage wise, I only 3x my money maybe. But you understand the science, and you're actively trading now. I've stopped trading. So I'm looking at a company like this, Fiverr. So you saw the graph. I showed it to you before. I'll share this tab. As you can see here, they're an Israel-based company, but you can buy them on the New York Stock Exchange. So let's say, so America, if they're using a currency, but that's not backed by anything, if you see other companies that are on the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, etc., and they are backed by something, how do you differentiate the difference on where to trade in that situation?
I'm not sure what will happen to the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. I don't know if they will transition
Hmm.
to the, you know what I mean, when they bring crypto online and they
Hmm.
actually regulate it. I
Hmm.
don't know if they'll just bake in the crypto on and
Hmm.
off ramps
Hmm.
or if they will create a whole new market for crypto, right?
Right.
So I'm prepared for every different scenario where I
Right.
have my money over here, I have my money over there. I'm
Right.
prepared if
No matter
the
if it
US
goes down,
dollar,
it's hard to predict, right?
yeah. I think the reason why Trump is being so aggressive is because of the US dollar might be losing value,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So it tells me he's going on offense.
Hmm.
You know, the rhetoric about Canada becoming the 51st state and all this stuff. It's because he's going on offense.
Hmm.
And you see, I don't know if you know, but you see, if you look into it, Russia and all those countries over there, they're gaining traction in Africa.
Hmm.
And I know that some countries in Africa have been revolting and military coups and all these different things, right? So, and it might not be as easy to extract the resources from Africa as they've been doing in the past. So, all these geopolitical issues affect trading and affect all how we make money and how we communicate. You know, it's amazing. We have Elon Musk. If the grid does go down, we might still get internet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I mean, drawing it back, because I know we probably have to wrap up in a bit, and you know, get it. You got stuff in your side of the world you got to take care of. Got stuff on my side of the world, and here in Tokyo. But to wrap it up for guys, so you got two aspects. You got guys in our well, I think even for us, even no matter how much money we have, because we don't know what's going to happen with the world, and this is all digital anyway, and all my money is not in my room in here, right? So you got two aspects. One, you have to have your skill set, whether that's communication, knowing a language, knowing how to be a plumber, whatever that is, knowing how to be a business, how to start a community, whatever that is. So you want to build that. But at the same time, your credit is power, like you said. What's happening with the credit system with America and the rest of the world, and then your finances, like, help you decide where to live. And then those are higher levels, but some people are operating at the bare minimum level, which is just like having a place to live. And if they don't have a place to live, or all their attention is spent on making money for their place to live, I think that affects dating. And you know, it's a big thing, and it can't be ignored. And you can't be mad at women for looking at it from that perspective. And if you're a man, you know, if your girl's asking like who's going to do the dishes, and you know, you're sitting home, you're not making money, and you're, you know, playing video games, or, you know, or doing something else, or if you're struggling, or if you don't have a job and she's paying the bills, and if you're not confident and you're in a relationship, that affects that. And if a girl's had that situation before, she doesn't want to deal with it. For both standpoints, I think I can make videos from the woman's viewpoint, from the man's viewpoint. But what are your closing remarks on thoughts from anything brought up today on dating and how it's affected by money?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And closing, I just want you to pull up on your screen, if you could.
Yeah, sure.
Maslow's hierarchy.
All right. Let me share this tab instead. Maslow's hierarchy.
Maslow, Maslow.
All right. And we got the AI
What are the
showing.
images? Yeah,
How's
so
this one?
basically that's what we're talking about there.
Right.
Once
I
your
don't know if
basic needs are met, then
Right.
you can move on to the next level,
Right.
right? And then hopefully you get some money after you after you meet those needs, your basic needs. You move up, level up,
Mm.
and then you get some money at the end of the day, right? Because
Right.
everybody needs that money to be able to get to the next level and hopefully retire. Hopefully we get out of this rat race. That's my
You know,
goal.
the interesting thing, I'm happy you brought up Maslow's hierarchy chart here. The interesting thing is a lot of the information I see on the internet is regarding the middle of this pyramid, which is the belongingness and love needs. And it's right in the middle there. And I know most people got food and water, but I guess it's either the safety, security part, or the esteem needs, which is affecting the love and relationships. So even if someone's secure, maybe they don't feel secure, or maybe they don't feel it's either one or the other that I think is affecting people's love needs. Because I think people are getting enough food and water to live and complain on the internet. I don't think that's the issue. let me see what the self-actualization, achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Yeah, this is sort of where I'm at now. This part here.
That's where I'm
Um,
at too.
where do you think? Quick question for you. Where do you think men and women are falling on this chart? And there's no one fits all. You could say like some men or some women. I
I
think
think that
that's
people are trying to skip a level.
hmm,
You know what I mean? Where they're not necessarily fulfilled in one area, but they're
hmm,
trying to get to the next level without actually completing,
hmm,
that middle level.
hmm. It's
Right?
interesting. Do
So
you think? Go ahead.
yeah, so I think people are going back and forth between levels and trying to juggle it,
Hmm. Would you
which
say
makes it difficult for
hmm,
you and your partner, right?
right? So something like paying the rent, being secure in the job, the boss not having crazy demands, would that affect the safety and needs?
Of course.
Hmm.
And the safety and needs for your partner as well. Because a lot of people's relationships end because of finances.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you got to be able to show up, make the money, and then come home and be happy, have a good spirit, and be uh, pleasant to be around.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, I think that's I think as a guy, regardless of where you're at with this, it's up to, I will say like, and now when I deal with the ladies, and shout out to Francisco and UFO 619, by the way. It's been a quiet day in here, but you guys are chatting in here. Thank you guys. Lunch Club. Yeah. Francisco in the house. UFO 619. I see you. I see you. Lunch Club crew watching. But um I think every relationship is different. I think Aaron B in the house. What's up, Aaron B? How's it going? He's still doing the walk live streams, but today we're talking about business, whatever. Sitting over here relaxing. You see me laid back in the chair. Coming out with a hot new video for you guys soon. It will be definitely edited today, no doubt. I almost came out like an hour ago, but yeah, going back to thanks Aaron B for he gives the zombie. Can you see the D Will? Can you see the chats by the way, or only I can see it?
no, I can't see the chat. I'm
Okay,
on my
interesting.
phone here.
Oh, I see. So, but basically, what I was trying to say, D. Will, before I responded to the chats, was like, so I think sometimes the woman wears the pants in the family, or in the household, or in the relationship. Sometimes the man uh is holding the pants, and like, I'll be honest, like when I went to college, I had a lot of beautiful girls in the New York City area that were my age, 18. But those girls 21 and up, they had their own apartments. They showed me the ropes. And my first like deep relationships, I'm not like talking off about like one-offs, jump offs, one night stands, hookups, whatever. My deep initial relationships with the ladies were all with older women. And like I was still at the top of this part. I've always been in self-actualization mode, I guess. I've sort of like, I think when I was younger, when I was 18, the reason why I gravitated towards those older ladies, and when I say older ladies, because I got ladies who watch my streams as well. I don't mean like oh, they're old, 25 is old, 23 is old. I just meant older than me. An 18-year-old royal is oh, a 21-year-old woman is older, right? So like I think I was stuck in between the safety needs because I didn't grow up with a lot of money. And then like I was trying to figure out how to make money in corporate America and the self-actualization. And at those times, even though I was confident, I was kind of learning from those ladies, whether 23 or whatever. You would think a 23 or a 25-year-old would not know a lot. But like I was dating a girl who was like 6 years older than me. I was 18, she was 26. and like her father was an entrepreneur who made millions. Like they know a lot. Like sometimes a young girl will know a lot. So at that in that situation, the relationship, that woman would be, she like bring me out, like pay for my meals at expensive restaurants because I was 18. I couldn't afford any of that. I was just saving for my rent for summer, right? So, but anyway, long story short is that the I think nowadays, especially if a guy is looking at more than just a hookup, and I think some guys have hooked up like it's fun, but some guys never get tired of it. Some guys do. I think for relationships, you don't necessarily have to be the breadwinner, but you have to articulate well in terms of security and needs and why you're doing things if you want the lady to act in a certain way. And I can cover. We don't have enough time today, of course, and these are very complex subjects. But I could cover from the woman's standpoint more at other times because I think both genders should get truthful communication on the topic from an objective source without anyone trying to sell a dating course. But yeah, I'm happy you
Yeah.
brought this up. This is so useful to address while talking on these topics. No, it makes it more concrete. He will.
Yeah, 100%. And
As
it's
well.
okay to be go around from one level to another level. You know what I mean? You don't always have to be in a self-actualization. It's okay to go back
Right.
down and work on yourself and then come back up.
Right. Where if all goes hell to hell the high water with infrastructure and everything, the whole world will be on psychological needs, right? If we can't all just get along.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
All right. Well. All right, D. Well, I'll hit you up after this. Talk about the next meeting. If any of you guys want to join, watching on the replay or watching live now on future calls, whatever, I'm always happy to send you the StreamYard link, especially if I know you or whatever. Some people are new to the channel. Yeah, guys, thank you everybody. My regulars, Francisco, Aaron, UFO, and D. Will. Thanks for joining me again. And
Yes, sir.
we'll still do the weekly live streams, but every week we try and do this like money talk. Today we tied in relationships, but yeah, thank you guys. See you next time. We out. D. Will, any last words? Points?
Peace and love from Canada.
All right, cool. All right, guys, we out of here. End stream. Boom.